When you were playing that record, what were you thinking?
Welcome back. Today I've got something a bit different for you. I've got two basses very much in need of some TLC, in varying conditions. One is my regular bass that I use for touring and practice. It's a Fender American Precision. Now, the strings on it have gotten quite grotty because the amount that I've been playing it through lockdown, as I'm sure a lot of basses have been. So I'm going to be giving it some much needed care and attention, and I'll be recording it for your viewing pleasure if you like things getting cleaned. The other bass, however, is much more interesting. It's a fretless bass that I bought off of eBay for not very much money at all. It plays brilliantly. I've got some new electronics in there as well as new pickups that just sound fantastic, however the strings are really letting it down, and I can't help but feel that the fretboard has just gotten dull, because this bass hasn't been played in 15 years. It's a 1992 Yamaha RBX250, then it's got an F at the end for fretless. So I'm going to be giving it some TLC and seeing just how good this thing can sound when it's actually got a new set of strings on it. So all that's left to do is introduce you to the basses and then get them nice and clean. Right, so this is my touring case that I keep all of my useful bits in, including my cleaning equipment that I'm going to be using for today's clean down. Now, the first set of strings that we're going to be using are these Slinky Cobalts, and they'll be going onto my American Precision. I chose the 100s to 45s because I didn't want to risk having too thumpy of a low end, and I still wanted that real clarity that you tend to get on the 45s. So we're just going to unstrap, get it set down, and before we start the cleaning, I'm going to remove all the strings entirely, as these have been very thoroughly used, as I said. So now that it's had a bit of a clean and the strings are ready to go on, I'm just going to show you on this first string how I tend to put the strings on. It's very similar to how you'll see most other people doing it, but for those who don't know, this is how I do it. So now, with the fresh strings on, it's looking lovely already. I'm just going to give it a bit more of a wipe down from where I've got my fingerprints on it. And with that, I think we're ready to move on to the Yamaha. Now, this bass, like I mentioned, the guy that I bought it from says that he hasn't played it in 15 years because he originally intended to learn fretless but just couldn't get on with the neck. So I'm going to be lucky enough to give it a clean down and really bring the life back into it. Now I'm using the same gauges, the 45 to 100s, but I'm going to be putting on the flat wound versions. And you can just see here how dreaded and knotted the strings have gotten over time. They just coagulated and took ages to get off. So this is something that people may not know. You can use a toothbrush to really massage the neck. It's not going to do any kind of damage. It just really does better than a rag at getting stuff out of all the little nooks and crannies within the neck. The neck had to go through many layers of cleaning and then oil and cleaning and then oil just to really get all of the dirt and residue, because the bass had very obviously been kept in quite a damp environment, and so the neck wasn't as healthy as it could have been. But as you can see, it now looks nice and shiny, a lot more life in it than there was before the cleaning. Perhaps the hardest part of the whole process was this tail piece. As it is, it was quite difficult to get in under the springs without taking them off. And there was just so much dirt and crap in there from where it's been kept, like I said before, in not an ideal environment. You can see there's little elements of rust, so as I go forward with this bass, I'm definitely considering changing some of the hardware on it. So now with the tailpiece clean, I'm able to start wiping down the body, really starting to give it the shine that it truly deserves, because it's an absolutely wonderful bass to look at now that it's clean. The headstock took quite a bit of polishing just because of the amount of matted fabric left from the strings that were on there. Something I absolutely love about these Ernie Ball strings is the purple that is on the top and tail ends of the string. It adds a lot more character to the bass than it just being plain metal. So that's the basses nice and clean, with new strings ready to try out on them. Right, now that we're back upstairs, we're going to be having a go at both of these basses now that they're fully clean and restrung. But before I do, I'll just tell you what Ernie Ball have to say about their strings. On the Super Slinky Cobalts that we've got on the Precision bass, they say that it gives extended dynamic range, incredible harmonic response, increased low end, and crisp clear highs. Now what this says to me is they're promising improvements on all fronts from any other string, and obviously you can be the judge of whether they actually are. I've got quite high hopes given how they sounded when I was just tuning up. I'll be playing both basses directly into my interface rather than through my amp. That way it will just give you the flattest tone possible. On the fretless bass, they offer very much a similar description, saying that the power of Cobalt improves the traditional feel of flat wound strings. Now, the only experience I have with flat wound strings is on the very cracked strings that came on this bass. So it'll be interesting to see what my first impression of some fresh flats will be. So now, all that's left to do is to give them a try.
Life's on track.
Thank you very much for joining me on this video of cleaning and trying out these two amazing basses with some rather fantastic strings on them. I'll be posting updates as soon as they happen on my fretless bass and its journey to becoming hopefully a touring bass, but we'll just see how it goes. But for now, thanks for watching.